So, a couple of days ago on the Fix episode, I heard one of the most shocking statements that John Brzezinski has ever made. I was so surprised that I had to rewind the video to listen to it carefully once again. When asked about their 2004 Zloty tournament match, John said this: "If the same guy shows up that was in 2004, I will be in a match. If he's better, what can I say? I'll be better prepared than I was in 2004 for sure." Now, the later part of this statement where John is saying that he's going to be better than 2004, that is not shocking because John has already mentioned that many times. But what is shocking to me is John saying that he can give the 2004 Alexei Vovoda a good match even while he's 59 years old. Now that to me is almost unbelievable. The 2004 Vovoda was peak shape, prime Alexei Vovoda. John said it will be interesting to see what his mental state will be, win, lose, draw, whatever going forward after this match. Now that's really exciting. We discussed in one of the previous videos as well that Vovoda didn't seem so excited to continue arm wrestling after this match. I hope that he found some new excitement about arm wrestling once again and we get to see this strong athletic arm wrestler compete more on the table. John further said, "I think he is probably the most gifted athlete arm wrestling has ever seen. If his mental focus is there, he could still easily become the best in the sport." That once again is a very powerful statement from John. I would say maybe he can become the best in 115 kg, but becoming the best in the super heavyweight division today looks like an extremely difficult task. When asked about Vovoda's lifts, John was laughing and he said that he doesn't watch any of Vovoda's lift. Whatever the reason for that is, but that was cool to hear from John. The number 3 arm wrestler in the world, the Gladiator, who is also a big fan of John Brzezinski, Hermes Gasparini, said about this match, "Vovoda posted many videos about his training. Weight of his lift is very impressive, but on the table it's a lot different. I think Vovoda will go in a top roll, but I don't know if he can stop the pronation of John Brzezinski." After that loss to Vovoda in 2004, John discussed that match with few people who knew Vovoda. They gave John this feedback that it is possible to beat Vovoda or to at least stop him if you get on his wrist and on his arm. So basically in a deep hook. Unfortunately, that wasn't a super match format, so John was able to try only once. One mistake and it was all over. But at this age, at 59 years old, John cannot force a hook on any of the elite level arm wrestlers. And there are a couple of reasons for that. At first, John does not have, let me first discuss the couple of ways to set a hook, the basic ways. So at first, we have shooting for a hook, where you do not have much contact pressure with your opponent. You're basically shooting forward and also in an attempt to avoid any kind of hard contact or pressure on your arm. You're shooting forward and once that guy starts pulling backwards, he's already in a hook. John does not have that kind of snappiness at this age, which is understood. And the second way is to just curl someone in with his wrist flexion. And as we have discussed in multiple videos previously, John seems to have lost that cupping ability that once he used to have. And that is probably the only weapon that is no longer available in his arsenal, of course, after his speed and explosiveness. So John literally cannot force the hook on Vovoda. The match will go in a hook if Vovoda wants to see it in a hook. But it may not be as easy for Vovoda as well, because if we remember the Denis Siplenkov match, there was one point where John decided to pull upwards so hard with his pronation. Denis Siplenkov's wrist started going back when he was going for the early pin. Vovoda may also face the same situation. When John Brzezinski tries to top roll someone right in the center, he may get top rolled himself or he may get hooked. That's what I was trying to say. But when John doesn't care about the arm, he only wants to keep the pronation, it becomes almost impossible to hook him. So that way, if John tries to pronate this way and he's pulling backwards like he did against Denis Siplenkov, I think Vovoda may also be stuck in that weird position like he was against Tim Bresnan. And that can be an interesting situation where John can pull off the victory from that position. But it is going to be difficult. I wish at this point John embraced the dark side of the king's move. Imagine if John decided not only to pull backwards, if he lets go of his arm to keep his pronation, also he starts rotating like devil head for the king's move. That John can become unbeatable at his weight category. But for sure it will be interesting to see. I don't think we are going to see a hook in this match as John is planning. I don't think it is going to happen, but in that pronation battle, if John rotates out really hard, if he embraces the king's move, that's where we can see it get interesting. Almost the Tim Breslin style. Thanks for watching. Please purchase the pay-per-view from the link in the description and subscribe to the channel.